Ancient spirits of evil, turn this decayed form into Mum-Ra, the ever-living. Number two is a quick one. You know why? Because it's self-evident. I don't even have to say much. Number two is Thundercats Roar. More like Thundercats Ignore, because that's what everyone did to this series. How do you turn something as awesome looking as this? Into whatever the hell this is.
Their planet exploded, Thundercats, they crashed on murder, Thunder crash, and beating some bad guys. Thundercats are on the move, Thundercats are loose. Feel the magic, hear the roar, Thundercats are loose. And make some new unicorns, robots, there's a big face where they can't shake space, and now they're ready to go. Thundercats!
Warning, you may experience epileptic seizures while watching this. Good God! And what the hell was that?
That's enough of that!
Now, they rebooted the series once before.
He would be born of fire, a king to lead his people to victory against ancient spirits of evil. Thunder! 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 Thundercats!
Which didn't look half bad. It was actually pretty good. See, once upon a time, reboots weren't quite as horrible. But now, what the heck is this? And this is another showrunner who said,
I grew up watching Thundercats. I watched a bunch of it when I was a kid and sort of stuck with me for a long time. I think that the world that they built lends itself really well to comedy.
So does that man bun. Now, aside from my series, Thundercats was my second favorite series. I love Mum-Ra. I always liked his incantation. He was kind of like the evil version of He-Man when he went from a wimpy mummy to become this muscle-bound, powerful being. FYI, Shanie also does a pretty good Mum-Ra himself. Check this out.
Ancient spirits of evil, turn this decayed form to Mum-Ra, the ever-living.
I love that chant. Let me try it on for myself. Ancient spirits of evil, turn this decayed form into Mum-Ra, the ever-living. Instead of honoring a series like they said they were going to do, they made a series that did nothing but take the piss out of it every 5 seconds.
You don't know what a Thundercat is? Well, let's start small. I'm a Thundercat, and this is my magic slicing stick.
These poor creatures can't help what they're doing.
And, of course, it got a lot of backlash and downvoted to hell. They resurrect a brand because the brand already has a fan base that supports it. But they don't care. They don't care about the actual fans. They don't have respect because they think you're just going to buy it like a bunch of fools. And you know what? They're right. Because as much as we despise and hate these things, it's like a car crash. You know it's going to disgust you and make you lose your lunch, but you just can't help looking anyway. And they exploit this, which is why we need to be more selective in the future. Anyway, Thundercats Raw, one of the most laziest excuses for a cartoon I've ever seen.
Where did I go wrong?
Anyway, before we get to the number one on the list, I have a few honorable mentions here. When talking about failed reboots, we can't leave out these important ones. Ghostbusters 2016, for example. Now, when I heard they were going to reboot Ghostbusters, I think most people were like, what? I just want a part 3. I don't think anyone actually wanted a reboot.
I think you might have made a mistake. I don't think that one's for us.
Before the original cast passed away, everyone just wanted a part 3. Give us one more lap for the road.
I blame myself.
But now, what did Sony do? We're going to reboot the series.
Back off, man.
And also, you know how the original series was made of 4 men? Well,
Here we go.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, you do see how this might make us look bad.
we're going to turn them all into women. How do you like that?
Headed for a disaster of biblical proportions.
Is it the boobs you don't like?
But we'll keep the logo the same because the logo is what will bring you to the seats. We won't change that. I couldn't have thought of something more villainous myself, and I'm a supervillain. The film itself was horrible. They didn't understand the tone of Ghostbusters.
None of my friend Ghost!
Actual physical contact!
And in fact, this version of the Ghostbusters was not played straight like the original, which I think was the most important thing. This felt like a Saturday Night Live sketch parody of the Ghostbusters.
Mass hysteria!
But the reason why it's not officially on the list is because at least it had the decency to put itself in its own universe and didn't affect the canon at all. But it definitely deserves honorable mention.
It's not always about the end result. It's about the journey.
The second honorable mention I'm going to put in is the Transformers. While it was a box office success for years, I can't ignore the fact that they gave Optimus Prime lips. What the hell is this?
Amazing. A booby trap that actually catches boobies.
What does he need lips for? Is he going to kiss Shia LaBeouf?
Who's gonna drive you home tonight?
Do it!
Ridiculous! They also killed off popular characters with no regard, like Jazz.
No! I want to!
Wish me luck!
Now, while that was horrible what they did to Jazz, it still pales in comparison to what they did to the fans after the film in 1980s. Where they killed off almost the entire cast of characters, left children crying in the fetal position. Worse than after Infinity War. At least Infinity War brought them back. Hasbro just off your entire childhood in one foul swoop. Can you imagine if that happened today? Anyway, without further ado, we're going to go to our number one. The number one atrocious thing that they did to a series has to belong, of course, to Star Wars, the sequels. Now, it's hard to pick which is the worst of the three, as they're all pretty horrible. But the most atrocious thing that they did to the Star Wars universe was how they treated their 3 main characters. Han Solo. We'll start with him.
Hey, it's me.
First of all, they made him a bad father for no reason. No explanation as to why or how his son turned to the dark side, but what he did wrong as a father we still don't know because apparently those things don't matter. But the most atrocious thing they did to Han Solo was they offed him with no regard. Yes, he dies. Yay! For a character who was conflicted. Now, this might have made some sense if it solved his confliction, right? It's a symbolic symbol of him turning to the dark side. He kills his father. Which, again, you don't use an iconic character for that purpose, by the way. And Solo is an iconic character. No, he still remained conflicted after he killed his own father. Which made his whole purpose for dying completely pointless. Not to mention, he dies and falls down a chasm. Now, typically Hollywood only tosses evil villains down chasms when they die. It's a pretty well-known Hollywood trope. Evil characters fall off cliffs, fall off buildings to their death. That's not how you treat an iconic hero. Another thing, where was his funeral? They just got a nice scene with the new character hugging someone that she barely even knew, instead of hugging the person who we're supposed to relate with the most, which was Chewbacca.
I just assumed it's a Wookiee.
Screaming about it can't help you.
His best friend, completely tone deaf.
No, that's not it.
There was no honor in his death at all.
You're Han Solo.
I used to be.
How they treated Princess Leia. They killed her off. Well, she's just going to die now. Why? She got exhausted. And I know Carrie Fisher died in real life, but still they could have handled her death with a little more decorum, a more purposeful death. They gave one to Tony Stark. They couldn't give one to Princess Leia? And seriously, can we ever forgive this scene? They turned Princess Leia into Mary Poppins.
From now on, you do as I tell you.
But the most atrocious thing they did in this series has to belong what they did to Luke Skywalker. They turned a once hopeful, bright-eyed farm boy, which incidentally that always makes me laugh. When I think about what they farmed, I still don't understand what moisture farming is. Can somebody explain what moisture farming is? Why do they need to farm moisture? And how are they farming moisture? They live in a desert, for God's sakes. There's absolutely no moisture to be found in the atmosphere, so where are they getting the moisture from? Their sweat? I don't. Can someone understand moisture farming? And he was an important cog in that moisture farm, apparently, as his uncle wouldn't let him go.
Harvest is when I need you the most.
And seek out his dream because of moisture farming. And despite all that, he managed to rise up, become a Jedi, and defeat the Empire, while trying to save the soul of his extremely evil, and I mean evil by even my standards. I'm evil, but I never committed genocide. His father did, and he saved him. This optimistic, bright-eyed Jedi never turned to the dark side.
I'll never turn to the dark side.
And still managed to see the goodness in the most horrible, evil villain that was ever created.
I know there is good in you. The Emperor hasn't driven it from you fully.
I wonder if he could see the light side of me. Well, I'll tell you something, Skywalker. There is no good inside me, I swear. That is all. And what did they do with this hopeful, powerful Jedi? Well, they turned him into a blue milk tit drinking, lonely hermit who gave up on the universe, gave up on the Force.
It's not true.
And contemplated murdering his own nephew in his sleep because he sensed some darkness in him.
That's impossible.
Wonderful. And he dies pathetically alone, without a funeral, without anyone to cry over him, except for a couple of pawns. And how does he die? Well, he fades out like a fart in the wind. No! Yay! There's a lot more atrocious things that happen in these films, but I'll leave it at that. So ask yourself, Hollywood, why don't we trust you with our heroes? I wonder. Kevin Smith, oh, give me a chance! To that I say, why on earth, after what you've done to all of our beloved properties, you deserve a chance? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So that's why Skeletor and the fans no longer believe in you, Hollywood, and we won't stand for your chicanery and lies. Listen to us and listen good. Leave our old nostalgia alone. If you're not going to do it with reverence and honor, then leave it alone. Maybe go into your brains a little, you know, and pull out a little part that says imagination and make something new. And make it good, for God's sakes. Stop putting woke politics and everything. It's fine to be political, but the whole film cannot revolve around woke politics. Characters have to be characters with real ambitions, real emotions, real desires, not just talking points for a woke initiative. But anyway, what do I know, right? I'm just an evil villain, after all. But what do you guys think? Was Skeletor right, or do you have a different list? Put in the comments, what do you think was the most atrocious reboot you've ever seen? One that made you cry in the fetal position. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Shanieology. Until next time, I Skeletor!